Again podcast. Let's meet again on that podcast. Talk about what's hot, what's not, what's in, what's out, what's happening around the block. You know, Again Podcast by Brian Smith.
Again and again, once again, welcome to the Again Podcast with me, Mr. Smith. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Guys, today I brought you guys a role model. Queen ya hustle. If you wanna learn how to make money fast, this is the person. I'm kidding. How are you, wifey?
Yo, Kishapa, how are you, bro? Yo, it's a money fast, yo.
Money fast.
I've been true later.
Next.
It's all
Really?
It's all I wouldn't know, otherwise I would have it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Money doesn't speak. Rebented bank account.
Yeah, bonana, man. I'm to tell you more.
Rebented bank account.
In Katlaga boat, if I can charity. I'm
Never
gonna
know.
get peggy lemon. What do you wanna eat? What should I bring for your kid? Yeah, that's how money talks.
Okay. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. Tell the people who you are and what exactly do you do. Because I want the exact job. Yeah, because you know everybody knows what's an eye doctor. An eye doctor, optometrist, right? But some people fail to understand her. A specialist, yeah, eye doctor, the ophthalmologist. So I want that ophthalmologist thing.
Okay, my name is Yvonne Ntsomi. Umpinga mawawa uvele bahleke umntwana. I am what do you call it? An art doctor. I'm a creative doctor. So what I would call myself is basically an art activist. I'm an art activist. I'm an activist for the creative sector. Basically that's it. I don't know if you want me to go into details here. What exactly into the creative sector do I do?
Yes, I want you to tell everybody. Remember, this is a teachable space. I need you to teach young kids to know what exactly are those channels that they can maneuver into. Not only Rebedi Actawa Wood. You know, there are other spaces in the entertainment where you can work and go through.
Okay, fine. So, I've held few positions in the creative sector in the province, in the region, and nationally. I am what you call it, in Northwest. The rep, the women in the sector. So basically, I sit with other women from other provinces to talk about the women in the creative sector and what can work for us as girls and women and the challenges that we go through, right? And then, okay, that we used to be at SIFSA, but then since the new minister, we just call it Women in Arts in Mzansi.
Yeah.
Also, I used to be the deputy chairperson of SIFSA in the Northwest Province. That was before we got disbanded last year. I think I also was on the interim after we got disbanded. But then I had resigned because I wanted to focus on my organization, which is Yvonne Ntsomi Foundation.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to focus more on and focus more onto the women in arts programs. So yeah, we can go further. I can unpack and unpack and unpack.
Unpack. I have all the time.
Okay, fine. So which one do you want me to talk about? My organization.
Yeah.
So our organization is Yvonne Ntsomi Foundation is created by 3 women, which is myself, Sorfazo Sukhoyani, and Salome Tlhapi. What we created the organization for was basically for development of both young people and women into all sectors, not just the creative sector. But for the past 3, we started at 2021.
Yeah.
So since then, more of our focus has been the creative arts. We have worked with schools around Rustenburg, Sacred Heart Secondary is in town, Mputi Primary, Kolidach. We have worked with other kids from other schools, but not with schools directly as well. We have taken some shows to school. What we do is that we will work with the young children from schools, train them into performing arts, from writing, music composition, acting, directing, producing, your own production. So they don't just act, they create the production that you're gonna see. And we even were members of Architect SA. These are the things that you need to look up as a creator. And we also won a certificate in 2023 of the Burst Community Theatre Production when we did our Artist Against GBV production. So since we work with the children, apart from like working at schools, last year for the first time we also took them to the National Arts Festival. They took a show called Culture in Era. Culture in Era is a theatre show that speaks about different era of times of our culture from when we were still living in caves. And it also fictional and talk about the future now, from caves to robots and things like that. And the beautiful part of it, it was created by us, written by Irish, the poet. I think you know her. She's one of the people that I work with. The music of the show was created by the kids themselves. So basically, every part where we need a song, we will work on it. Because Yvonne Ntsomi was the music director on that show. We will work on it. We will workshop it, and then they will write their own music with the coaching of obviously Nati, myself, and Yvonne Ntsomi, who was also a choreographer of the dance of the show. Most of our artistic or creative set was done by what's her name? I'm forgetting. Zawadi. Zawadi. She was our set designer. You know, her beautiful work with visual arts, with painting and things like that. So that is one show that was 70% created by the kids that we have trained over the year of the previous year. And to say, okay, now that we've trained you, come do something of your own under our watch. So that's something that we planning on continue doing going further.
So tell me this, Nick. You've adopted a bunch of kids. You are teaching them how to act, music, drama, and all these things. Nick. You've got like so many heads. How does it feel being a mother of so many kids, man?
Like this. Do you see this face? I love my children. So I have a relationship with my kids. Ne? I don't even know if I should call them artists or they are just my kids. It's either you're my child or you're my sister or you're my brother. But because I work with a lot of young ones, they are my kids. And I don't know, like a person like me working with such energy young one, it's very vibrant. So apart from just an amazing feeling and being able to just yell all the time, you also create a relationship with people like their parents, their teachers. You also now learn to. I have 3 children on my own, 2 I work with. The other one is still in high school, so I give him space. Now those are two energies that I raise. Now I find these other energies. Some are very spiritual being. Some are very hyper in other things, so different. I have this one kid that when we were working on culture in era, it was like every time we have to work on something, she will dream it first. Or if there's something wrong, she would just either cry or, But then I also had this other kids, and then the older ones that understood how to deal with it. They understood how to, guys, they're amazing. When it's time to pray, they will tell me, Mom, it's time to pray. Mom, Brian is not okay. Mom, we need to take Brian to get something because Brian is not okay. What's wrong? No, Mom, we will tell you. They also take care of each other so much. Ne? You'll think 10 years, together. Yeah. And every time there's a new one, you would not even notice. They have an energy, man. It's like it's magic. It's something that I've prayed for. I've always wished I have, and I dream that one day I have like a huge home for my kids, that they can come home anytime, even when we're not working. I have kids that comes home. This weekend, and then she sent me a message. Yeah. That's just from work. And that's one of the kids. How I met her, for example, I met this kid through like in different ways. I got a video from Black Jesus. I love that brother of mine. Yeah, the comedian. Yeah. I got a video from Black Jesus. I met this kid with Swarte. She needs some training. And I said, okay, give me her numbers. Give her my numbers. Today, look what when they know her mom. I have this other kid, Tumelo. Tumelo, I would rock up home and find him there. Abare, my mom just dropped me off. So your mom will just drop you off at the house. But I'm with you, so I told her that I want to go to my mom. So we have this relationship that is beyond work. When we're working, it's not like we are working. That's why they become so awesome. If you go to our Facebook and YouTube and you see the clips of work, you will think this kids but so cool, what school of arts. But they're just kids that I take them and we sit in a camp for maybe every schools are open. If we have a program and then we start working with each other, our personal issues first. We tackle those. If a child has a problem, we're able to speak to the parents. There are times where even some schools they would not want, but then the parents will agree because what their personal experience with their kids when we work with them, they love it and they enjoy it. And then even when we went to the National Arts Festival last year, and when I had kids coming, Kadi bucket, with money. Mom, my mother said I should give you this. It was such a moment, Yeah. I always had a dream, and I always talk about this even on social media. Like I want to have a lot of kids, and even when I speak, I always say all my million children, and that's my dream. And I really, really just want us to go beyond Rustenburg, Moses Kotani, Buchanala, Northwest, beyond South Africa. I want us to have children all over the world. Because the nice thing also about the kids is that when they grow, they have their own kids. My first kids have their own kids. I swear, they'll be like, no, this one is not your child, it's your grandchild. Yeah. I already have grandchildren. Yes. So yes, those heads I miss them and I speak to them. I call them and then they call me. And then they are able to tell me even when they have issues at home. Literal issues like things like mom, there's something, my mom's going through something, can you please talk to her? Or even issues that needs counseling. And I'm able to talk to the parents and say, so and so was able to talk to me about this. I would like you to help with this and this and this. And the nice thing about their parents is that they never dismiss the information that we give them.
Yeah.
Because they know that with the kids, they are free to talk. They're sitting in an environment where they are told you are free to talk. If you want to speak privately, you can speak privately. If you want to talk to the other kids, then they can talk to me. You can do that. So each choose whatever works for them. But at the end of the day, I've never seen or heard any of my million children say, I'm not able to speak. And
Yeah. Loud voice.
I do, to a point that there was a time at rehearsals, they made me angry because they didn't wake up on time. They have to wake up, exercise, make breakfast. I would normally make them lunch. They love my food. So I was so angry, I had to punish them. They had to now do more exercises, run, and then I didn't cook for them. I got somebody else to cook for them. You know, those kids did. And I didn't yell at them. I just kept quiet the whole day. After the rehearsals, they came to me, they sang, and then they said, Mom, please yell at us. Do anything. We just want you to cook for us, please. So the relationship we have, and with my many heads, as you call it, it's one hell of an amazing experience. And I don't even understand why people wouldn't want to work with kids.
Hey, now let's stress. Hey,
so yeah.
With kids.
And to be honest, it's easy to get support when you are working with kids because one child has two parents.
Yes.
And then they have grandparents. And they probably have big sisters and big brothers and uncles. So if one child is a support from a family, how many people will support you helping that child?
Well, there's a saying, it takes a village.
Yes.
So it takes a village to reach one child. So,
yes. So that's how it is to work with my babies. Can look up, blush.
Let's take it from one head to another. You're an actor. You're a professional, trained, qualified actor, right?
I'm an actor. By experience, I'm a trained writer.
Yeah. I wanna know, okay, the peaks and tweaks about acting. Few insights, like for instance, how do you prepare yourself for an audition? How do you learn how to read the script and interpret the script and portray the script out?
Phew, hectic. So I think I enjoy the fact that you want to put it a straightforward question. For instance, if you're gonna prepare for audition, this is what I was once workshopped. If you're gonna audition for a well-known show, like for an example, The Lion King, you research. Remember that they now have a
new franchise.
No, wait. They have a theater, right?
Yeah.
I guess you have the theater play, you have The Lion King, and you have a screenplay. So the screenplay, it's mostly your voice and your charisma. So if you're auditioning for something like that, you need to research, okay, what am I auditioning for? A screenplay, which I only need to be on the mic. Do I just need to talk, or do I also need to bring the acting and the charisma and the feeling of what this character is doing? And then now you go to the theater part. If you can see most of the shows, I mostly work with theater. Theater shows, especially if they're like being on screen, you'll find there are a lot of few different aspects on stage, because there are things that we can do on editing, screenplay, that we cannot do when we are on stage. So now, if you're gonna audition for a stage play, like the Lion King international tour or South Africa or whatever, you research what language. Like simple things, like if you go for an interview, you do a research about the company, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna audition for Lion King and what you call it, China, for instance, can you speak Mandarin? Because shows like, I don't know why I'm making example with this, but it's easy to make example with it, because even if you play, you buy a movie, what then you will see it has so many languages.
Yes,
that is purposefully done. So you can even audition just to be the translator of it in Zulu, because they have a Zulu version. There are people that do the Zulu version, but like I said, I mostly work as stage play. On the stage, for instance, the Lion King, there are songs that you don't see on the screenplay, and most of people don't even know that. There's this song, the hyenas. See those three hyenas.
Yes.
On the screenplay, they don't have a song. On stage, they have a song.
Yeah.
They have a song that they sing when they chasing the lion cub, Simba. So now, when you are now going to audition for Lion King stage play, you research Lion King stage play. You also research, what am I auditioning for? Am I auditioning for Lion King South Africa, international, or because they depending, right? Preferred language. It's mostly English, but then when you go to other countries, they also tweak songs in their languages. You research. If you have a preferred character, like I'm making an example on something that is already done. If you have a preferred character that you see yourself as, research that character, but also make sure you research 1 or 2, 3 characters, because a casting director can decide, no man, you can't be Nala. Maybe play Rafiki, which is one of the greatest character ever to be played on stage, right? So one of the best thing to do is to do that research. When you're now done doing that research, if you have like a trainer or somebody that you work with, you now go audition for that person. Say, Brian, I am going to audition for Movango. They want to replace Agnes. I need to do this for you, so that you tell me, give me your points. But then don't go to a person who just wants to watch TV and find it entertaining. Go to a person who understands something about casting. It can be your acting trainer. It can be one of your colleagues in the acting space. It can be a casting director. Do that in front of them. Take notes. Go back. It's not always that you're gonna get the part. Most of people take years to get the part, but it does not mean they are good. They are not good. You can be good and not get a part. The other thing that you need to learn when it comes to acting is that characters, for instance, going back to characters. Just because you are also good, or maybe you're a professional actor or actress, and maybe you've been on TV even, it doesn't mean you have the part or you suit the part. For an example, this is an example that somebody made in a workshop that I love to use. Bargemang, one of the guys that I actually admire in the industry. We can talk about him the whole day. What's his name? He did this film, Losing the Gato.
Oh.
Yes. So he was doing the one workshop. And then he said, he made an example with him. You see, he's a great actor. He's short, and he said, for instance, as a casting director or agency, whatever, if you're gonna cast a for Paltus's husband. And he said, I wouldn't even go for it. Not because I cannot perform, but look at me and look at Pal.
It should make sense.
Doesn't make sense. That will make sense on screen. Unless if there's a story that they are trying to tell about this guy and that girl. So it's an example that he made. And I'm sorry that I'm using his example, but it's a perfect example. So those are other things that you also need to know. We are auditioning for, like you said Rafiki. Rafiki on screen as a guy, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that Rafiki on stage is played by a woman?
Wow. That I didn't know.
Majority of the auditions that I've heard of, they audition a woman for Rafiki. That's another thing that you need to now go research if you want to go audition for things like that. So we can go on and on. We can talk about researchers. We can talk about all of these things. It's going to take us forever. But I feel like research and training and practice, it's one of those things. And the other thing, you have people that prefer their script done in their languages.
Yeah.
You also have productions that don't have a problem with improvising and using your native tongue. Find out.
Yeah.
Is this an 80% English or an 80% Zulu show, an 80% Tswana show? Now, what language am I supposed to be dominating with if I'm going to be auditioning for this? All English written, obviously all scripts are written in English because standard, and then we change the language later, you know? So now those are other things that you need to look out for. I'm just saying.
And speaking of scripts and interpreting scripts, do you guys get royalties on the scripts? Because I know for a fact that most scripts are written. Tell you, say it in Setswana, Xhosa, or anywhere. Do you guys get paid for your, I don't know, your ideology in terms of interpreting scripts?
Okay, so I think that's a different, I don't know how to put it. That's not, so acting, it's say what you can say if you can improvise, right?
Mm-hmm.
With script, you have translators and whatever. I know, for instance, for an example, in Northwest we have Motsweding FM, right?
Yes.
Majority of scripts are written in English, right?
Yeah.
But then when you listen to the story Motsweding, right? So what they will mostly do is that they will have a writer who writes, and then get people now that can now translate from English to Setswana, to now rewrite the whole script in Setswana, and then give it to the writer or back to the writer or the producer, depending on what are we doing here. So that is on agreement. The thing with the creative sector is that most of the things are based on agreement. What are we agreeing on? Let me make this example. There is a show that Yena Kagiso did. What he did, normally actors are just paid, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some actors, lead actors, would want to have a certain percentage of royalties of the show, the film, or whatever the case. What he did, he gave everyone shares of royalty that worked on that production.
Wow.
I mean, literally everyone.
Shout out to Kagiso Midu.
You know, so most of those things are based on agreement, Brian. I don't want to lie to you. We can say all of this and all of that. There's a fine print, and the terms are always different. You read your contract before you work on anything. You can change it, or you can request. You can add. You can make a request. At the end of the day, it's just an agreement between two people. If I refuse and decide, you know what, I'm just gonna take a person over to Mupatalang, at my half it's a span, instead of a person auto royalties on my work, then I can do that. Well, also I can just say, no, it's fine. You can take royalties and payment, or whatever the case might be that we both agree on. So issues of paying and royalties are truly, no matter the standards that are there, those are basic rates, mostly done by the biggest productions that every country has. They will put them out there, and then we will benchmark with them. As we work with other people, we're gonna benchmark with them, but at the end of the day, the agreement is between two people.
Yeah. Speaking of agreements and money, I wanna understand, how do you know which actor to pay? Let's say I'm Brian, I'm new, I'm a novice, I don't know anything, I did some acting workshops. How do you evaluate and say, okay, here's a script, we're going to give you this part, this is how much you're gonna earn?
Okay, so how you know? As an actor or director or producer or whatever, you have a rate card. That's how I know. Same, you have a profile, right?
Yeah.
Then you have a rate card. That's easy. That's how I know.
So yes,
I will just ask for a rate card. As a novice, you need to also have a rate card, even if your fees are lower, but need to have a rate card of. And this is the things that we workshop people. They are in places where you get there and they make an offer. Even some actors will say, no, make me an offer. Or some people will just get an offer. Like at the end of the day, it's still an agreement between two people. You have a rate card. You go research a basic or standard rate for South African actors for TV shows, standard rate for South African actors for feature film, standard rate for South African actors for whatever, depending, right? You work on that. Now you know yourself. You look at the status or position of your acting career. If you go look at these sites that I'm telling you about, they are out there. They will make these basic standards things. You can compare, and then you can come with a rate card. You know your work. You can call yourself a novice because we've only seen you once on TV.
Yeah.
But you've probably been on stage 100 times.
Yeah.
You've probably been on stage in Las Vegas. So we don't know that because we don't go there. But it's you who knows your job and the experience that you have. You put your profile here and your rate card. In your profile, we will know things about you that we didn't even know. I get a profile in a level paki, in a level proof of work. And then you put your rate card. Even as a novice, you can say, fine, I know Hore is mang Wago Muvango generation is getting 50 cents. I just want 10 cents, whatever, or 12 cents. You know? And if none in that budget there as a producer, executive producer says, breakdown here and producer. If I can pay you this money, why should I say no? Or you find at some point you rated yourself even lower. But then a rate card is every professional whatsoever in anything, especially in the creative sector, needs to have a rate card.
And then I want to understand one more thing. People are crying at royalties. For a government, they should sign a bill and give people royalties. Actors are looking for royalties. What are those royalties? Because royalty is on music, you guys.
Royalty. So why do you think it's just on music?
No, because I think, okay, let me put it this way. Let's say, for instance, I put out a song this year. 2 years, 3 years down the line, my song gets hyped again, or maybe somebody...
Or you die and they play it again.
2 years down the line, somebody remix my song. you know I have to get paid somewhere somehow. So why are actors saying Bona they need to get paid?
So I'm gonna ask you a question again.
Yeah.
Because I need us to help people to figure it out.
Yeah.
So if for instance, there's a movie, right? Wicked.
Yeah.
It just came out, right? It's a remake. Right?
Yeah.
You've seen Lion King, it's a remake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Good. So as a writer, let's say for instance, I wrote this remake. I wrote it. Ne? If for example Urban Brew or Disney or whoever, right?
Yeah.
And it's a good show. And then all I want is just 50 cents and they take everything. 10 years down the line, they feel like we can make this show, remake it, even, 3D.
We'll put billions on it.
So I'm gonna watch my show. All I had was 50 cents 20 years ago. I could have just had royalties, even the selling rights. So when it's remade by the production house, I get something out of it. Now, back to actors. If, let me make an example, a popular show, Soul Buddies in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
You know the people that look Soul Buddies.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of LA, that comedy Will Smith, right? So when maybe they decide to not maybe remake it, but replay Soul Buddies, and then Salamina is watching herself. She's working now. People are watching it. The new generation is watching this entire educational show, and she's getting nothing out of it. Now that's where royalty is coming. That's where royalty is coming. That's the same as music, right? So now, as this show plays, the same way royalty ya gago, ka music video ya gago tlala ko channel O, or ka audio ya gago e tlala ko Motsweding FM or ko UFM or whatever. The same with the actors. That is also if they wanted that. There are people who just want man, but there are people, and especially the ones that knows what it. Now I know the one. It's okay, fine. Or sometimes production itself doesn't have enough money to pay you now, so they will settle you royalties.
Okay.
For an example, we know a lot of songs that were
remixed.
No, not even remix. Questa, when he came in Kangoto, we didn't really know Questa by then, but he brought Casper. Now there was Casper. Now we want to hear the song. Do you think by then Questa had enough money to pay Casper on a feature car where now Casper was already? So what do you opt for? Royalties.
I'll give you a percentage.
Royalties. It works everywhere. Literally, even in business, in literal business. Ke kopa o nkagele container. I don't have money to pay you, but whatever the business is making, you'll get 10% of it for 5 years. It works everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should bring more kids to understand this thing about royalties and stuff. But one thing I really want to understand, why are those productions only jokes?
Well, we can answer.
Okay, let us put it this way. What are you doing so far when I'm resting there?
So, one, I'm going to tell you why they are all in Joburg or Durban. Gauteng government supports the creative sector. It supports. It doesn't say it supports it. It supports it, literally. KZN government supports the creative sector. I mean, how many series is already
Yeah, a lot now.
That is coming
Cape
from
Town is starting to adopt.
that is coming from the support of the provincial government. Now, this is something that we preach about. We're gonna have this podcast. They're gonna hear this. It's not gonna suffice.
They're just gonna watch it and say,
we'll see more loads like Yvonne. Anyway, which I'm okay. Like, I'm not scared. When you go to, for instance, our provincial government, our Department of Arts and Culture, our municipal offices, and say, here's a script. I can tell you writers that came, that, you know, the shows that they've done, they've written. I can tell you, I don't know if I want to implicate them, but I can tell you, I think one of them needs you. You know, they came and say, this is it. This is the job creation that we can do, just in Rustenburg, Northwest, or whatever the case might be. This whole project allows you financially, it's a budget. It's a TV show. It is able to bring money for the province and itself. All you need to do is make sure it is started. I swear to you, if we had support from our government, our provincial and local government, we could have all those things that you want. We could have a university. You know how many? Which town?
Talking about it every day. Yeah.
So we can preach all we like. You can say, yes. What are we gonna do here? Who's gonna support us? Because so what we doing, now we are in development. If, for instance, Mwana Brian wants to go study drama or
music,
banally experience you know, because the other reason we don't have this load of us going out there and getting to learn professionally these things is because we also don't have the experience. How it's Amaya Oya go to UT or I wanna study graphic design. But what portfolio? What have you done to show you deserve to be in a class at graphic design? When you go say I wanna study drama, you audition.
Yeah.
When you say I wanna study dance, you audition. When you wanna do entertainment technology, they're gonna give you clay, something. You will go there because you like this thing, but you have never done them developmentally with maybe organizations like us. Then obviously they're gonna beat you. You won't get space. It's a limited space.
There's NSA go Gauteng.
Thank you.
Yeah, from the age.
There's a lot of them.
We are already acting and doing.
So what we doing is it's many development. We wish that we can say, yeah, we have a university here, we have a production house. We had an auditing suit. It's gone.
A lot of things.
Yeah, we can talk about that the whole day. It's gone.
But I see even lady workshops. There was Rustenburg Film Festival a few months ago. You guys are really trying something. I'm gonna
say something about especially the Rustenburg Film Festival, not because I am a senior program coordinator of it.
Exactly.
Literally because I'm it and I see what it does and the potential it can do. Leona, the support, it's also needed there. Because Brian, if you don't even have to go Google all these international and national film festivals. There's this thing when we are reducing more and shooting a film, people expect to see that film next week on TV. What they don't understand is that on TV, you ask yourself awards from.
Where is it playing? Where is it?
Well, it's a guy award because this is new, right? You go to film festivals, you submit film everywhere, international, national, everywhere. That's where you get the recognition. That's where you get all the people that are relevant for your film at the film festivals and the markets. That's where the people get awards for their films. Now, broadcasters love awards.
Very
How it's like
much.
a film we need awards the guy. What are the chances that we're gonna see it on SABC or Netflix or Showmax?
And all that.
Very
Yes.
high. So we can shoot films all we like. But to see them on TV or big screen without understanding the actual work behind the development of all of those things, pointless. And what you also spoken about is to teach people, just because you have cameras, you can shoot. Or you can probably edit. Now, the post-production, yes, you can do. Now, the distribution of it.
Yeah.
What are you doing for distribution? So this film is business itself. It's business. It's something that can literally make you money for the next coming 5 years, if done well distributed. Now, you always say Gauteng and whatnot because the support that they have, we don't have it here.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. So that's why we mainly concentrate on development. Until we are there, we can say, yeah, now we're working. Development, we are working with professionals because it's hard. What are you going to do for a professional? We can help you get to a professional level, but when you get to a professional level, we let you go because we can't do anything for you. And that's the truth.
There's nothing here.
There's
no
nothing here
resources.
for you.
And at the end of the day, we'll be crying for black talent. Once it gets fame, once it gets fortune, they leave. Well, there's nothing you guys are doing for us anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's put this in conclusion. We'll have a part 2, by the way. So, so what's Yvonne working on right now?
Yay! Yvonne is working on growing Sarabi Ntsomi Foundation. We are working on establishing sites in the Bujana district as a whole, where now the people that we trained, because we worked with people from all municipalities, the Bujana district, Khetling, Moretele, Madibeng, Rustenburg, Moses Kotane. We want to now have the kids that I have. I want them to multiply. I want that number of kids go Moses Kotane, the kids that number go Madibeng, go Moretele. I have this amazing friend of mine, Miss V. She's a reggae singer. She works with kids. I work with her. She's amazing. You know, I want to also work with such people to support this children development in the creative sector. Also, what we also is trying to establish now is to work with private sectors and mines to establish those remote sites. What we're also working on, apart from the creative sector, is skills for women. But skills that are mainly done by men. We'll talk about it the other time. I don't want to jinx it. It's also something on the pipeline. We are hoping that in 2 or 3 years we will have an art center in Moses Kotane, in one of the rural villages. Hopefully, that far villages. We're working on that as well. But an art center is a
It's bad.
It's a huge margin. Right?
Yeah, so we're already working on that process right now, hoping that the support that we are trying to get from both public and private sector will come through, and hopefully it will be less than 3 years.
Speaking of private sector, how does one AgainPodcast say, you know what, Yvonne, here's our 2 cents. How can we help you? Where can we help Yvonne right now?
Okay, So there are many ways to help us, right? For an example, when we did culture in area with the kids last year, we went to Ntate Keras, Keras Park. We went to him. We didn't have a place to rehearse. We didn't have a place to the parents. He gave us a place to rehearse. He helped us with the groceries for rehearsal, and then he gave us the park to perform after we did the show.
Shout out to the
Park. So that's another way that you can help, right?
Yeah.
When we have these things, you can talk about these things in your show. You don't have to. Assistance is not always monetary. It's not money all the time. Capacity that you have is value to anything. The capacity of you being here, shooting this thing, putting it out there, it's also assistance to us. You have people that come here. You know the people that you have. You know which one has deeper pockets that can be interested in supporting these things. You have a network. Your network can also be our assistant.
Look our website in 2 seconds.
Guys, whatever that you look for, just look for Yvonne Ntsomi Foundation. It will just pop.
You know, I ask every guest.
YouTube everywhere.
I ask every guest, what are your musical pleasures?
My what?
Musical pleasure. What kind of music are you listening to?
Currently, so right now I'm listening to Defying Gravity from Wicked.
I
So
see the ad is coming out.
no, guys. I write musicals, right? So most of the times, the new film or the new Broadway show will be my favorite song. So right now, I'm listening to Defying Gravity.
Thank you so much. But before we leave, where can we find you from?
Not happy.
Where, not personally, where can we find you from? Because I know you're not only an actor, you also do MC, you also do events and all those things. So let's plug the people. OCO can MC, guys. Call her, she'll run the show, do everything. She'll even coordinate your event. At a fee, by the way.
Yeah, obviously. Yes, I'm also like a stage manager.
All of
So honestly, right now, there's nothing that I'm currently personally working on except for everything that I've said. Organization. My name is Yvonne Ntsomi.
Yeah, everywhere.
Caroline or Carol Yvonne Ntsomi. If you type that on Google, you don't even have to go on Facebook. Google. It will just show all of those.
Everything.
Even my creative acting, whatever thing, it will show on all those sites. There's many of them that we have to register on. So just literally look me, and that will be it.
Guys, it has been Again Podcast. Please don't forget to